They will try to shake you. They will test you. Life itself will press on every weak spot you possess, like fingers on a bruise, waiting to see if you flinch. But you listen to me. You were not born to flinch. You were born to stand unmoved. You were born to be the calm in the storm, the unwavering mind in a world of chaos. Because here's the truth most refuse to face. The world will never quiet down for you. It will not soften its edges because you're sensitive. It will not hold back its tests because you're unprepared. It will not spare you its insults, criticisms, or setbacks. It will come for you. So you must decide, will you hand it your power, or will you act as if nothing bothers you? Not because you don't care, but because you refuse to be controlled. Because you refuse to be a puppet whose strings are pulled by other people's moods, words, and petty provocations. Understand this deeply. True power is not in domination. It is in self-mastery. The ability to sit in absolute silence while the world screams at you to react. The strength to pause while others explode. The wisdom to see insults for what they are. Clumsy attempts to steal your peace. When you choose not to react, you choose not to hand over your power. You stand sovereign over yourself. You become the master of your fate because you refuse to be mastered by anything external. Imagine the most powerful people you know. They don't yell. They don't argue every point. They don't need to prove themselves to anyone. They move with calm certainty, as if they know something the world does not. And they do. They know that most of life's provocations are noise, distractions designed to make you forget your purpose. They know that to win, you must learn to ignore, to choose your battles with precision, to hold your fire until the moment is right. Because power is not scattered energy. It is focused intent. It is the silent, controlled burn of a mind that refuses to be shaken. Do you think Abraham Lincoln didn't face insults? They called him awkward. They mocked his voice. They derided his honesty as naivete. Yet he stayed calm, measured. He never let their words dictate his worth or distract him from his mission to preserve a nation. He understood that greatness requires a higher standard of self-control. Think of Thomas Edison, failing thousands of times in his pursuit of light. Did he scream at the world? Did he curse the darkness? No. He worked. He adjusted. He refused to let failure define him. He was unmoved by public doubt because he had already decided to succeed. His mind was settled, his spirit unshaken. This is what it means to act as if nothing bothers you. It is not cold indifference. It is trained discipline. It is understanding that your energy is finite, and you will not waste it on the trivial. When someone insults you, see it as a test. Will you pass it, or will you fail by giving them exactly what they want? A reaction. Pause. Smile. Walk away if you must. Leave them holding their empty words, their own anger, their own disappointment. Because you will not carry what does not belong to you. That is your freedom, your power, your responsibility. Emotional detachment is not suppression. It is redirection. You are not pretending you have no feelings. You are refusing to let them control your actions. You are choosing clarity over chaos. You are saying to the world, I decide who I am. I decide how I feel. You don't get that power. Because the moment you hand someone else the keys to your peace, you are no longer free. People will test you simply to see if they can move you. They will insult you to provoke you. They will bait you with their own insecurity, hoping to make you share in it. And most people will fall for it. They will fight, they will explain, they will defend themselves against nonsense, and in doing so they will exhaust themselves, achieving nothing but wasted energy. But not you. You will not fight battles that don't matter. You will not burn energy proving your worth to those who cannot see it. You will not argue with fools and call it victory. Your silence will be your answer. Your calm will be your weapon. Your focus will be your crown. You will remain unshaken not because you are empty of feeling, but because you are full of purpose. Your mission is too important. Your goals too grand. Your vision too clear to waste time on trivialities. So train your mind, every day, every moment. When you feel anger rising, pause. When you feel insulted, pause. When you want to snap back, pause. Ask, will this matter in 5 years? Does this serve my goals? Am I handing away my power for nothing? Most of the time, the answer is no. And when you choose silence over reaction, calm over chaos, you become something rare in this world. Untouchable. They will wonder how you stay so composed, how you keep your dignity when others lose theirs, how you move through failure with your head held high. It is because you have mastered the hardest discipline of all, yourself. Let them talk, let them doubt, let them rage. You will stay steady, because you know that the only opinion that matters is your own, that the only mission worth fighting for is your purpose, that the only battle worth winning is the one within. And when you master that, you master everything. So act as if nothing bothers you, because nothing truly does. Not when you see the bigger picture, not when you understand that life will test you not to break you, but to forge you, and you will emerge from every trial stronger,
sharper, more composed.
Because you refuse to be moved by anything less than what truly matters. You refuse to be ruled by anything less than your own highest self. You chose mastery. You chose calm. You chose power. The world will keep coming. The insults won't stop. The failures won't vanish. The noise won't quiet. But you will move through it all like a force of nature, untouched, unshaken, unbothered. Because you have decided to be. You see, the world respects what it cannot shake. It bows, often unconsciously, to those who refuse to bend in the wind. Because while most people are slaves to their emotions, puppets yanked around by anger, fear, and the need for validation, the calm ones are free, truly free. Freedom isn't just the ability to say what you want. It is the ability to feel what you feel, and still choose your response. To know anger but not be ruled by it. To feel fear but still step forward. To hear criticism but not bow to it. That is freedom. That is mastery. And you earn it in the quiet moments when no one is watching. When you want to lash out, but you breathe. When you want to explain yourself, but you stay silent. When you want to prove them wrong, but you let your results speak instead. Think of the legends you admire. They didn't waste time reacting to every doubter. They didn't change their course every time someone criticized them. They knew their mission, they trusted their vision, and they kept moving, unbothered, unapologetic, unstoppable. Because here is a secret. They understood that you must understand too. Every reaction you give is energy spent, and energy is the currency of achievement. Spend it foolishly, and you have nothing left for what matters. Spend it wisely, and you can build anything you want. So you must learn to guard it fiercely. When they insult you, they want your energy. When they criticize you unfairly, they want your energy. When they provoke you, they want your energy. Don't give it to them. Let them keep their noise. You keep your power, because your power is precious. It is what you will use to build your dreams, to protect your people, to serve those you love, to become who you're meant to be. So why waste it on people who don't matter? On arguments that go nowhere? On proving things to those who will never understand you? There's no victory in that. There's only depletion. And you were not born to be depleted. You were born to be deliberate, purposeful, unshakable. It is not that you don't care about anything. It is that you care so deeply about the right things that you refuse to be distracted by the wrong ones. This is the heart of acting as if nothing bothers you. It is choosing what deserves your energy, and ruthlessly cutting away what does not. It is the discipline of focus, because focus is the ultimate power move. Focus says, I know who I am, I know what I'm here to do, and I will not be moved by anything less. Picture a sculptor at work. He strikes at the marble again and again, chipping away everything that isn't the vision in his mind. He doesn't argue with the rock. He doesn't rage at the dust. He doesn't respond to passers-by who question his methods. He keeps carving, because he knows the statue is in there waiting, and he knows he'll only find it if he stays focused. Your life is the same. The masterpiece of your potential is waiting beneath the stone of distraction, fear, insecurity, and emotional reactivity. You must carve it out, strike by strike, choice by choice, silence by silence, calm by calm. You must refuse to be interrupted by what does not serve your vision. When someone tries to provoke you, imagine them as noise in a quiet room. You don't have to respond. You don't have to justify. You don't have to fight. You simply choose to remain unmoved, because your purpose is too important to be interrupted. Your mission too sacred to be diluted by the petty. You were not born to fight every battle. You were born to win the battles that matter. This is the difference between the successful and the unsuccessful, between the strong and the weak. The weak react to everything. They are leaves in the wind, at the mercy of every breeze. The strong choose what moves them. They are roots in the earth, unbothered by the storm. And you can be that. You can train yourself to be that. It will not be easy. It will go against everything the world has taught you. Society teaches you to care too much about everything, to respond to every insult, to seek validation from every source, to be liked by everyone, to win every argument. But that is a trap. It will drain you. It will scatter your energy until there is nothing left for what truly matters. So you must unlearn it. You must decide today that you will no longer be baited by the trivial. You will no longer be moved by what does not serve you. You will no longer hand away your power to anyone who asks for it. And when you make that choice, truly make it. Not just in words, but in practice, daily, relentlessly. You will change. People will see it. They will feel it. They will wonder how you stay so calm, why nothing seems to shake you, how you keep moving forward when others fall apart. And you will know the answer. It is because you trained for this, because you chose this, because you refused to be ruled by anything less than your own highest self. You will walk into rooms and command respect without saying a word, because your silence will be louder than their noise. Your calm will be stronger than their chaos. Your focus will be sharper than their distraction. This is your birthright, not to be the loudest, not to be the most reactive, but to be the most unshakable. So stand tall, breathe deeply, and act as if nothing bothers you, not because you're numb, but because you're awake. Awake to what truly matters. Awake to who you truly are. Awake to the fact that nothing outside you can truly touch you unless you let it. That is your freedom. That is your power. And it's time you claimed it, because you see, life will keep testing you until you prove that you can't be moved. It will keep sending you challenges, insults, failures, betrayals, not to break you, but to ask you one question. Who are you really? Are you someone who collapses at the first sign of resistance? Who spits fire at every insult? Who explains themselves to every critic? Or are you someone who knows your own worth so deeply that no one else gets to define it? Someone who moves through the world with such clarity that no confusion can distract you. Someone who burns with purpose so brightly that no darkness can snuff you out. You must choose, because if you don't choose who you are, the world will choose for you, and it will make you small, timid, reactive. It will turn you into a dancing puppet for every master who knows which strings to pull. Fear, anger, insecurity, validation. Those are the strings. They work on most people, but they will not work on you, because you will see them for what they are. Attempts to control you. You will smile at them, the way a warrior smiles at an enemy's sword, knowing they are ready, unshaken, unbothered, prepared. Because you see, this is not just philosophy, it is strategy. Remaining calm is not passive. It is the most active thing you can do. It requires attention, discipline, training. It is the choice over and over to be the eye of the storm while the winds rage around you. You cannot expect the storm to stop. You can only train yourself to stand within it. This is the art of unshakable calm. It is the discipline to choose silence when your ego screams to speak, to choose understanding when your anger demands retaliation, to choose patience when your fear begs you to flee. And with every choice you make in favor of calm, you become stronger. You carve out space between stimulus and response. You become the master of yourself. This is what Marcus Aurelius meant when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Most people ignore this truth. They waste their lives trying to control what they cannot. Other people's opinions, the past, the future, the outcome of every plan. And when life refuses to obey them, they rage, they crumble, they feel victimized. But the wise know better. They know the only true control is self-control. They do not waste energy, demanding the world be easy. They train themselves to be strong. They do not wish for fewer obstacles. They become better climbers. They do not demand silence from the critics. They learn to ignore them. Because they know the critic's voice only has power if it echoes in their own mind. You must see this. You must see that most of the suffering you feel is not from what happens to you, but from how you interpret it, the story you tell yourself about it. He insulted me, so I must defend myself. They doubt me, so I must prove myself. I failed, so I must be worthless. These are the lies your fear will whisper, but you don't have to listen. You can choose another story. He insulted me. So what? It doesn't change who I am. They doubt me. Good. Let them watch while I work. I failed. Excellent. Now I know what doesn't work. You see, the calm mind is not delusional. It is realistic. It accepts what is, but it refuses to be ruled by it. This is the mindset of every great achiever. Henry Ford was told he would fail. He didn't argue. He built. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. He didn't beg for another chance. He created his own empire. They let the world talk while they worked in silence, while they turned rejection into fuel, while they turned setbacks into lessons. They understood that reacting emotionally to every criticism would waste the one thing they couldn't afford to lose: focus. Focus is everything. Without it, your dreams starve, your purpose drifts, your potential rots, and there is no greater killer of focus than emotional reactivity. Because every time you react, you lose sight of the bigger picture. You shrink yourself down to the level of the insult, the setback, the trivial. You trade the mountain for the molehill, and you cannot afford that trade. Your mission is too important. So guard your focus like a dragon guards its gold. Don't waste it on arguments that don't matter. Don't spend it on people who don't see your vision. Don't give it away to insults hurled by small minds. It is not your job to explain yourself to those who cannot understand you. It is your job to become so clear on who you are that their confusion doesn't touch you. It is not your duty to win every argument. It is your duty to win your life, and that requires a mind that is yours alone, ruled by you, directed by you, protected by you. You will not give that away. You will not be moved, not by their words, not by their doubts, not by your own fleeting emotions, because you know the truth. Emotions are visitors. They come, they go. They do not own you, unless you let them, and you will not. You will greet them, feel them, but you will not act on them blindly. You will pause. You will breathe. You will choose. This is your power. This is your freedom. This is the foundation of an unshakable life. So let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them try to provoke. You are the calm in the storm, the eye that does not blink, the mind that does not flinch, because you have decided that nothing will bother you, not because you are empty, but because you are full of vision, full of purpose, full of discipline, full of love for what truly matters, and empty of the need to prove anything to anyone. This is not about being cold. It is about being clear. Clear on what you value. Clear on what deserves your energy. Clear on what you will allow to shape you. Because the world will try to shape you if you let it. It will mold you into someone constantly offended, constantly explaining, constantly proving, exhausted from the endless need to be understood. But you don't need to be understood. You need to be effective. You need to be aligned with your purpose. You need to be so rooted in who you are that misunderstanding rolls off you like rain on stone. And this clarity, this refusal to be moved by the trivial, is magnetic. People are drawn to those who are sure of themselves, not because they're arrogant, but because they're at peace, because they don't need anything from you. They don't need your approval. They don't need your applause. They don't even need you to like them. They simply are. And in that certainty is something rare in this world. Freedom. Think of the people who have impacted history most. They were not the loudest. They were not the most reactive. They were the ones who could hold their center in the middle of chaos. Nelson Mandela, after decades in prison, emerged with dignity intact. refusing to bow to bitterness. He did not rage. He did not beg. He did not seek revenge. He chose unity. He chose peace. He chose calm in a moment when the world expected violence. That is the highest form of power, to choose your response freely, even when your circumstances are anything but free. And you have that power now, right now. No one can take it from you without your permission. The moment you decide that your peace is non-negotiable, everything changes. Criticism loses its teeth. Insults lose their sting. Failure becomes data instead of damnation. Rejection becomes redirection. Because you are no longer interpreting the world through the lens of ego. You are interpreting it through the lens of purpose. Your purpose is bigger than their insults, bigger than your own self-doubt, bigger than this moment. Purpose puts everything in perspective. It is the compass that keeps you pointed north while the winds howl. It is the promise you make to yourself that you will not be distracted, that you will not betray your potential to win petty fights, that you will not sacrifice your vision for temporary satisfaction. So ask yourself, what is your purpose? What matters so much to you that you will not allow anything to derail it? When you know that, you become unshakable. Because you realize, most of the things that try to provoke you don't even deserve an answer. They don't deserve your time. They don't deserve your focus. They don't deserve your reaction. They are beneath the level you are operating on. This is not arrogance. It is discernment. It is knowing the difference between what is urgent and what is important, between what is loud and what is true, between what is noise and what is music. And you must train yourself to listen only to the music of your mission, the rhythm of your discipline, the beat of your own heart saying, this is who I am, this is what I stand for. Because if you don't define yourself, the world will define you. And the world is messy. The world is lost. The world is reactive. The world is filled with people desperate to feel powerful by making you feel small. Don't let them. Don't trade your peace for their approval. Don't trade your mission for their momentary satisfaction. Don't lower yourself to be understood by those unwilling to rise. Instead, rise so high that their insults can't reach you. Rise so high that their doubts become fuel. Rise so high that they're forced to look up if they want to see you at all. This is the quiet power of those who act as if nothing bothers them. Because nothing does, not in the way that matters. They see setbacks as training. They see insults as noise. They see failure as data. They see success as responsibility, and they see themselves as the only thing they truly need to master. Because mastery of self is the only mastery there is. All else is illusion. Power over others is nothing if you have no power over yourself. Wealth means nothing if you are bankrupt in discipline. Fame is worthless if you are a slave to public opinion. Success is fragile if it rests on the approval of others. But the person who is unbothered, truly unbothered, they cannot be controlled. They cannot be bought. They cannot be broken. They cannot be rushed. They move at their own pace, speak with their own voice, live by their own values. They are immune to the petty because they are married to the profound. And this is what I want for you. Not an easy life. Not a life free of criticism, rejection, or setbacks. Those things will come. They always come. I want you to build something better. A life where you are unshakable in the face of them, where you can stand in the hurricane and feel the wind on your face without losing your footing, where you can look your critic in the eye and see not an enemy but a mirror, reflecting your own growth, where you can fail publicly and feel no shame, because you know it's just another lesson on the way to mastery. This is what it means to act as if nothing bothers you. It is not about denial. It is about transcendence, not about being hard, but about being free. Because the truly unbothered are not numb. They feel everything, but they are ruled by nothing. They don't pretend problems don't exist. They just refuse to be defined by them. They don't deny emotions. They process them, learn from them, and then let them go. They don't resist life's difficulties. They embrace them as part of the path. They know that a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor, so they don't pray for the sea to calm. They train themselves to sail in any weather, because mastery is not built in comfort. It is forged in resistance. Just like steel must face fire to become a sword, just like the diamond must endure unimaginable pressure to shine, you too must welcome the forces that test you. You must see them not as enemies, but as teachers. When someone insults you, they are offering you a lesson in restraint. When life disappoints you, it is teaching you patience. When your plans fail, the world is giving you feedback. When people misunderstand you, it is an opportunity to clarify your own values. Every moment you want to react is a chance to choose differently, to choose calm over chaos, silence over shouting, purpose over pettiness. You see, the unbothered mind is not deadened. It is disciplined. It has learned to sort the meaningful from the meaningless. It has developed a kind of spiritual minimalism, refusing to clutter itself with what does not serve. Because here is the truth most will never grasp. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to catch every insult thrown at you. You don't have to answer every critic. You don't even have to explain yourself to those who demand it. Your life is not a courtroom. You are not on trial. You are not obligated to convince anyone of your worth. You don't need a jury to approve your dreams. Your work is to live them, to breathe them into existence, to keep building while they talk, to keep climbing while they doubt, to keep loving while they hate. This is the quiet rebellion of the unbothered soul. It refuses to let small minds shrink it. It refuses to let fear dictate its course. It refuses to make decisions from anger or insecurity. Instead, it becomes strategic, patient, focused, because that is where true power lives, not in explosive rage, not in endless justifications, but in unmovable clarity. Imagine a general on the battlefield. His soldiers are panicking, shouting about the enemy's numbers, the sound of cannon fire shaking the earth. If he panics with them, they lose. If he screams and rages, they scatter. But if he stands calm, studies the field, speaks with measured certainty, he becomes their anchor. They find their courage in his composure. They steady themselves because he is steady. You must be that general in your own life, the commander of your own mind. Because if you do not command it, it will be commanded for you, by fear, by anger, by other people's opinions, by every cheap insult that wants to rent space in your head. Your job is to evict them. No notice, no apology, just a quiet, certain refusal. They don't belong here. This mind is reserved for strategy, for vision, for discipline, for love of what truly matters. Anything less is a distraction, and you are done with distractions. You are done with surrendering your power. You are done with explaining your soul to those who cannot see it, because you know this now. Silence is not weakness. It is control. It is the choice to respond only when it serves your mission, to speak only when your words carry weight, to act only when action moves you forward. Most people speak to prove themselves. The unbothered speak to shape reality. Most people react to relieve discomfort. The unbothered respond to achieve clarity. Most people crave being liked. The unbothered crave being effective. You see the difference. It is subtle, but it is everything. Because you can spend your life chasing the approval of the crowd, or you can spend it building something the crowd will one day admire. You can spend your energy on arguments, or you can spend it on mastery, but you cannot do both. One path drains you, the other builds you. One feeds the ego, the other feeds the soul. So choose. Choose to act as if nothing bothers you. Not because you're dead inside, but because you are so alive with purpose that nothing trivial can sway you. Choose to be unmoved, not because you're stubborn, but because you're clear. Choose silence, not because you have nothing to say, but because you will not waste your voice on the unworthy. Because here is a truth that will serve you forever. You teach the world how to treat you by what you react to. If you react to every slight, you teach them your peace is cheap. If you argue with every critic, you teach them your vision is negotiable. If you fight every battle, you teach them you can be distracted. But if you stay calm, you teach them you are in command. If you stay focused, you teach them you cannot be moved. If you stay silent, you teach them to respect your presence. This is not about arrogance. It is about authority. The quiet, unspoken authority of someone who knows exactly who they are, who knows exactly what they want, and refuses to be swayed by anything less. People will notice. They will test you at first. They will try to draw you out, provoke you, get you to react, because they are used to people crumbling under the slightest pressure. But you will not. You will show them what self-mastery looks like, what discipline feels like, what true presence commands. And in time, they will respect you, even if they don't like you, especially if they don't like you. Because respect is not born of pleasing people. It is born of refusing to bow, refusing to flinch, refusing to trade your peace for their approval. And this is the essence of power that cannot be taken from you, because you gave it to no one in the first place. Understand this deeply. You owe the world your gifts, your work, your purpose, but you owe it no explanation for who you are. That is non-negotiable. That is sacred ground. Your mind is your sanctuary. Your heart is your compass. Your vision is your inheritance. Protect them with everything you have, because the world will try to rob you of them if you let it. It will whisper doubts in your ear. It will throw insults at your feet. It will parade your failures before you, not because it hates you, but because it is testing you, asking how badly do you want this? How deeply do you believe in yourself? How willing are you to keep going when no one claps? And you must answer not with words, but with your unwavering presence, your calm defiance, your steady progress, your refusal to be moved by anything that doesn't serve your purpose, because the world respects what it cannot shake. It might mock it, it might resist it, it might attack it, but in the end, it respects it, because so few achieve it. Most people will spend their entire lives chasing the comfort of approval, trying to buy peace by paying with their integrity, sacrificing their dreams on the altar of being liked, trading their authenticity for applause. Don't do it. Don't sell your soul for the cheap currency of validation. Don't dilute your vision to make it more palatable. Don't soften your truth so others can swallow it without choking. Speak it, live it, and let those who can't handle it look away. You don't need them. You need you. You need the version of you who doesn't flinch, who doesn't fold, who doesn't explain their fire to people afraid of burning. Because that version of you is who will build the life you want. That version will stare down rejection and say, next. Will look at failure and say learned. Will hear criticism and say considered. Will see obstacles and say expected. And will keep going anyway. Calm, certain, focused. Not because the path is easy, but because it is yours. And you have decided that nothing, not the critics, not the failures, not the noise, will keep you from walking it. Because this is what it means to act as if nothing bothers you. It is not the arrogance of pretending you're untouchable. It is the humility of knowing you don't need to touch everything. You don't need to fight every fight, win every argument, correct every misunderstanding. You can let them think what they want, say what they want, do what they want, while you keep moving. Because you are not here to win debates. You are here to build, to create, to serve, to grow, to lead, to love. And every moment you spend reacting to the trivial is a moment stolen from the profound. So you will train yourself. You will train like a warrior trains for battle. You will watch your mind the way a sentinel watches the gate. You will question every impulse to react. Does this deserve my energy? Will this matter in 5 years? Is this moving me closer to my goals? Most of the time, the answer will be no, and you will choose silence. You will choose stillness. You will choose to keep your power, because that power is precious. It is your birthright. It is the fuel you will need for the battles that do matter. When the real challenges come, and they will, you will need all of it. Your focus, your clarity, your discipline, your unshakable calm. So save it, guard it, protect it like the treasure it is. Don't throw it away on the unworthy, because this is how you will win. Not with noise, not with rage, not with scattered energy, but with precision, with patience, with relentless forward motion. Let them think you're unaffected. Let them wonder why you don't react. Let them call you cold, or arrogant, or aloof. You know the truth. You are not empty. You are full, full of purpose, full of love, full of fire. You're just too focused to waste any of it proving it to those who will never see it. This is the quiet dignity of the master, the calm confidence of the visionary, the unbreakable spirit of the one who knows exactly who they are. Because at the end of the day, all the noise fades. The critics find new targets. The crowds move on. The insults are forgotten. But you will still be here, doing the work, building the dream, living the truth. Because you trained for this. Because you chose this. Because you refused to be moved. Not by their opinions. Not by your own fears. Not by anything less than what truly matters. And in that refusal lies your freedom, your power, your peace, your legacy. Because in the end, it is not the loudest who win. It is the most disciplined, not the angriest, but the most focused. Not the ones who react to everything, but the ones who choose what is worth responding to. That is you now, the one who acts as if nothing bothers them. Because in truth, nothing does. Not anymore. Not now that you know the game. Not now that you've chosen your side. Not now that you've decided to stop being ruled by anything but your own highest self. Because you see, there is a kind of quiet revolution that happens when you make that choice. The world doesn't change, but your relationship to it does. The insults still come, but they no longer land. The failures still happen, but they no longer define you. The setbacks still arise, but they no longer stop you. You become like water, flowing around obstacles, instead of crashing into them, finding your way forward, no matter what stands in your path. Because water doesn't argue with the rock. It doesn't rage against the mountain. It simply moves, and over time, it shapes the unmovable. That is the power of the calm, unbothered mind. It is not loud. It is not violent. It is patient. It is inevitable. Because true strength is not in force. It is in endurance, not in domination, but in mastery of self. And mastery begins with one decision. I will not give my power away, not to anger, not to fear, not to doubt, not to critics who don't understand me, not to setbacks that test me, not to failures that try to define me, because they don't get to write my story. I do, you do. Every day, with every choice you make to stay calm, when it would be easier to rage, to stay focused when it would be easier to give up, to stay silent when it would be easier to shout. That is the discipline that builds unshakable confidence. Because when you know you can control yourself, you stop fearing what the world might throw at you. You stop being reactive. You start being proactive. You stop living in defense. You start living on purpose. This is why the most successful people often appear so calm. It's not because their lives are easier. It's because they've trained their minds to see clearly, to see past the noise, past the distractions, past the petty conflicts that snare lesser minds. They know that success is not built in the heat of argument, but in the quiet of focus. That progress is not made by proving themselves to doubters, but by proving themselves to themselves. And so they act as if nothing bothers them, not because they feel nothing, but because they refuse to waste energy on what doesn't matter. They save it for the work, for the craft, for the mission, for the people who truly deserve it, because they know this truth. Your energy is limited. Your time is precious. Your focus is sacred. You cannot give it to everything, so you must choose. And in choosing what to care about, you reveal what you are building. Are you building a life of reaction, always at the mercy of what others say and do? Or are you building a life of purpose, guided by your own values, your own standards, your own vision? That choice is made in the smallest moments. When someone cuts you off in traffic, when a coworker insults you, when someone misunderstands your intentions, when failure comes knocking. In those moments, you get to decide, do I react? Do I hand them my peace? Do I let this moment define my day? Or do I breathe? Do I choose calm? Do I stay aligned with what actually matters? Because those moments are not small. They are training. They are the gym for your mind. They are the fire that tempers your discipline. And if you pass enough of those tests, something changes inside you. You become unrecognizable to your old self, the self that needed to be liked, the self that needed to win every argument, the self that needed to react to every slight. That version dies, and something new is born. Something strong, something clear, something unstoppable. You become the person who can stand in the middle of chaos and remain unmoved, who can face failure without losing faith, who can hear insults without losing dignity, who can keep going when most would quit, because you have trained for this. You have chosen this. You have built this, one moment of calm at a time, one pause at a time, one act of disciplined silence at a time. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to prove it. Your presence will speak for itself. People will feel it. They won't know why they respect you, but they will, because you will be the rarest thing in the world. A person who cannot be moved by trivial things. A person who knows who they are. A person who doesn't need to be liked to be effective. A person who doesn't need to shout to be heard. A person who doesn't need to win every argument because they're too busy winning their own life. This is what it means to act as if nothing bothers you. It is not a pose. It is not a performance. It is a decision, a discipline, a way of being. It is the promise you make to yourself. I will not waste my power on the unworthy. I will not let my emotions dictate my destiny. I will not trade my peace for anyone's approval. I will not sacrifice my purpose for anyone's comfort, because you know this is your life, your one life, and you will not waste it. Not now, not ever. So the next time the world tests you, smile. When they insult you, breathe. When they doubt you, work. When they misunderstand you, let them. When they try to provoke you, stay silent. When they try to distract you, refocus, because you are done giving your power away. You are done being ruled by what doesn't matter. You are done living for anyone's approval but your own. From now on, you will act as if nothing bothers you, because nothing does. Not in the way that counts, not in the way that can stop you, not in the way that can shake the foundation you have chosen to stand on, because you have built that foundation yourself, with your choices, with your discipline, with your unshakable refusal to be anything less than who you were meant to be. Because you understand now, this is not about being emotionless. It's about emotional sovereignty. It's about feeling everything fully, but responding only to what deserves you. It's about being so in command of yourself that no external force can hijack your mind, your purpose, your spirit. That is true mastery. The world will try to convince you it's the opposite, that to care is to suffer, that to be compassionate is to be weak, that to feel is to lose. But they are wrong. You can feel deeply without being controlled. You can care fiercely without being reckless. You can love without losing yourself, because the goal isn't numbness. The goal is discipline. The goal is to create so much space inside your mind that even the strongest emotion cannot drown you. To feel anger rise and greet it with understanding. To feel fear clutch at you and say, I see, but still move forward. To feel doubt whisper an answer, not today. Because when you have that power, you are free. Free from the prison of knee-jerk reactions. Free from the chains of needing others to understand you. Free from the constant compulsion to explain, to defend, to retaliate. You become simple, clear, direct. A force of nature moving forward with quiet certainty. Look at nature itself. The mountain does not justify its height. The river does not explain its path. The oak does not apologize for its strength. They simply are, unbothered by perception, unafraid of critique, unchanged by the noise around them. This is your goal. Not arrogance, not cruelty, not coldness, but certainty. Certainty in who you are. Certainty in why you are here. Certainty in why you are here. Certainty in what deserves your energy and what does not. Because if you do not choose where to place your energy, the world will choose for you, and it will scatter you to the winds. It will have you chasing every insult, answering every critic, fighting every battle, until you are exhausted, defeated, bitter. Don't let that be your fate. Choose instead the discipline of focus, the art of silence, the mastery of calm. Imagine someone insults you. Pause, breathe. Ask yourself, is this about me or about them? Most of the time it's about them, their fear, their insecurity, their pain. You don't need to carry it. It's not yours. Let them keep it. Walk away untouched. Imagine you fail publicly. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, what does this teach me? Failure is only final when you decide to stop learning. Until then, it is feedback. It is instruction. It is refinement. You don't need to defend it. You don't need to justify it. You simply need to use it. Imagine someone misunderstands you. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, does their understanding change my truth? No. Your truth stands whether they see it or not. Your mission remains whether they believe in it or not. Your path continues whether they approve of it or not. So let them misunderstand. Let them talk. Let them judge. While you work, while you grow, while you keep moving forward. Because in the end, it is not their understanding you need. It is your own unflinching commitment to who you are and why you are here. And this commitment is fed by calm, by silence, by the refusal to waste energy on the trivial. Because you know now that every moment spent reacting is a moment stolen from creating. Every argument won in words is a battle lost in time, and time is the one resource you can never get back. So spend it wisely. Spend it building the life you want. Spend it with the people you love. Spend it on the work that sets your soul on fire. Spend it learning, growing, refining, mastering. Don't spend it proving yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Don't spend it defending yourself against those who refuse to see you. Don't spend it chasing the approval of those who don't even know themselves. That is not your path. That is not your purpose. Your purpose is higher. Your path is straighter. Your time is too precious. So act as if nothing bothers you. Not because you don't feel, but because you've decided what deserves your feeling. Not because you're numb, but because you're awake. Awake to the difference between what is urgent and what is important, between what is loud and what is true, between what is demanded of you and what you choose to give. This is your power, to choose, to remain bold, to stay calm in the storm, focused in the chaos, and moved by the petty, because you know what you are building, you know where you are going, and nothing, no insult, no failure, no critic will stop you. Because you have trained for this, you have decided this, you have built this. With every moment you chose silence over reaction, calm over chaos, purpose over pettiness. That is who you are now, the one who cannot be provoked, the one who cannot be baited, the one who cannot be moved by anything less than the mission, the one who acts as if nothing bothers them, because nothing does, not in the way that matters, not in the way that can stop you, not in the way that can touch what you have built inside, and that is the mark of someone who is truly free, because freedom is not given, it is claimed, it is not bestowed by the world, it is wrestled from it, taken inch by inch through the discipline of choosing your response, through the courage of knowing you don't have to explain yourself, through the clarity of recognizing what is yours to carry, and what is not. You see, the world is heavy enough, your dreams are weight enough, your purpose is responsibility enough. Why add the burden of every insult? Why carry the weight of every slight? Why carry the weight of every slight? Why let every criticism become an anchor tied to your ankle? Cut it loose, not because you're above learning, but because you know the difference between learning and appeasing, between growth and distraction, between feedback and manipulation. You are done being manipulated by the need to be understood, by the reflex to be liked, by the addiction to be right, because that need, that reflex, that addiction, it's a prison. It is the very thing that keeps most people small, unable to move, afraid to act, afraid to risk, afraid to stand alone. But you are not most people. You chose something different. You chose mastery. You chose purpose. You chose to be the calm in the chaos, the silence in the noise, the focus in the distraction. Because you know this, most people don't fail for lack of talent. They fail for lack of control. Control over their minds, over their emotions, over their focus. They can't hold steady when tested. They can't keep moving when insulted. They can't stay silent when provoked. So they waste themselves on battles that don't matter. They die on hills that don't deserve them. They give away their power to anyone who asks for it loudly enough. And then they wonder why they feel empty, why they feel lost, why they feel so angry all the time. It's because they have made themselves vulnerable to everything, accessible to everything, open to being moved by anything. But you will not be moved, not by insults, not by failures, not by the fear that whispers you are not enough, because you know you don't have to fight those things. You just have to stop giving them power. You don't have to answer every critic. You don't have to debate every doubter. You don't have to prove yourself to every skeptic. You just have to keep going, keep building, keep refining, keep showing up, calm, focused, unshakable. That is how you win, not by outshouting them, but by outlasting them, not by arguing with them, but by succeeding in spite of them, not by pleasing them, but by living so well that their opinions become irrelevant. Because the truth is, they want your reaction more than they want your downfall. They want to know they can move you, control you, pull you down to their level. And when you refuse to react, when you stay calm, stay silent, stay focused, you deny them the victory they want most. You take away their power over you. You show them they were never your equal in this game, because you are playing a different game entirely. One that isn't about winning arguments. It's about building legacies. One that isn't about being right in the moment. It's about being effective in the long run. One that isn't about proving anything to them. It's about proving everything to yourself, because that is the only contest that matters. You versus you. Will you react? Or will you respond? Will you crumble? Or will you stay firm? Will you waste your energy? Or will you guard it? Will you let them write your story? Or will you hold the pen? These are the choices that define you, not once, but every day, in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when you feel the heat rising in your chest, when the words form on your tongue, when the urge to lash out is almost irresistible. That is when you choose to be calm, to be clear, to be unmoved, because that is who you are training to be. And don't fool yourself. It is training. It is work. It is repetition. It is choosing the higher road so many times that eventually it becomes the only road you see. It is refusing to lower yourself to the level of provocation. It is remembering that your purpose is too important to be interrupted by the trivial, because the trivial will always be there. The noise never stops. The critics never fall silent. The obstacles never disappear. But you can become so strong that they no longer move you. You can become the eye of the storm. The unshakable foundation, the calm presence in every room, the one they cannot provoke, the one they cannot predict, the one they cannot control, because you don't need them. You don't need their approval. You don't need their understanding. You don't even need their respect. You give those things to yourself. You validate yourself. You know yourself. And in knowing yourself, you free yourself. Free to think clearly, to act decisively, to move intentionally, to stay silent when silence is power, to speak only when words will build, to act only when action will serve. Because you are done living at the mercy of the world. You are done being a puppet on the strings of your own emotions. You are done letting fear and anger and insecurity run your life. You have taken the reins. You are in control. You are calm. You are clear. You are unbothered. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Because that strength is what separates the few from the many. Most people will never understand it. They'll say you're cold, arrogant, detached. They'll accuse you of not caring, but you know better. You know that caring too much about the wrong things is what destroys people. You know that constantly reacting is what robs people of peace. You know that the world is full of noise, and it will drown you if you don't choose silence. So let them misunderstand. Let them mislabel. Let them think what they want, because you didn't come here to please them. You came here to build something. Your life, your vision, your legacy. And that requires clarity, focus, discipline, and above all, the ability to say, I don't need to react to this. I don't need to fight this battle. I don't need to give this my energy, because your energy is gold. Your focus is your most valuable asset. Your peace is priceless. And you guard those things like a king protects his crown, not with insecurity, but with certainty. Because you know the cost of scattering your power, of being dragged into every argument, of being baited into every conflict. It's the cost of your dreams, your health, your joy, your time, and you are done paying that price. Because you understand now that mastery is not about controlling the world. It's about controlling yourself. It's about recognizing the only real power you will ever have is over your own mind, your own choices, your own responses. That is what makes you unshakable, not because nothing touches you, but because you decide what gets to stay. You decide what deserves your attention. You decide what moves you, and you have decided it will only be the things that matter: your mission, your values, your growth, your love, your purpose. Everything else, it can knock, but you don't have to answer. It can shout, but you don't have to listen. It can provoke, but you don't have to react, because you see the game now. You see how easy it is to lose yourself in the noise, to become a puppet for other people's insecurities, to be manipulated by your own unexamined emotions. And you refuse. You refuse to be that easy to move, that easy to shake, that easy to defeat. So you choose the harder path, the disciplined path, the path of silence when you want to speak, calm when you want to rage, understanding when you want to judge, patience when you want to quit, because you know that path leads somewhere. It leads to mastery, to real power, to the kind of presence that cannot be ignored. Because make no mistake, silence is not absence, it is presence. Calm is not weakness, it is control. Detachment is not apathy, it is freedom. You are not becoming less, you are becoming more intentional, more effective, more aligned with who you want to be, and people will feel it. They will feel it in the way you enter a room, the way you hold your gaze, the way you listen without rushing to speak, the way you refuse to be baited, the way you move deliberately, unhurried by their urgency, because you know something they don't. Most things simply don't matter. Most insults are projections. Most arguments are ego. Most criticism is uninformed. Most praise is fickle, and you don't need any of it to do what you came here to do. You came here to build, to create, to love, to lead, to grow, and you will not be moved from that mission. No matter what they say, no matter what happens, no matter how loud the world gets, you will stay focused, you will stay calm, you will stay true, because you have chosen to act as if nothing bothers you. And in that choice you have found something unbreakable, yourself, the self that is not reactive, but responsive, not defensive, but deliberate, not panicked, but prepared, not desperate to be liked, but committed to being effective, the self that sees through the noise, the self that says, I don't need to fight you, I don't need to prove myself to you, I don't need to convince you, I will just show you, with my work, with my consistency, with my results. That is the final level, when you no longer need to announce anything, when you no longer need to declare your power, when your presence alone commands respect, because you have become so consistent, so disciplined, so unmoved, that people can't help but notice. They see it in the way you hold silence. They feel it in the way you choose your words. They notice it in the way you don't respond to bait. They see that you are not shaken by the things that unravel them. And whether they say it or not, they respect it. Because everyone is searching for that steadiness, that certainty, that freedom. And when they see it in you, they know it's possible. You become the example, the standard, the quiet inspiration. Not because you told them how to live, but because you showed them what is possible, by living it, by embodying it, by refusing to be anything less than unshakable. So let them watch, let them wonder, let them talk. You will remain silent when necessary, clear when required, unbothered always, because you have chosen this, you have earned this, and you will protect it, because this calm is not a gift. It is a crown you forged in fire, a throne you built with discipline, a kingdom you rule with mastery. And no one, not the critics, not the failures, not the noise, can take it from you, unless you let them, and you never will, because you know now, your peace is non-negotiable, your purpose is sacred, your time is priceless, and you will not trade these for anything, not for their approval, not for their applause, not even for their understanding. because you finally understand yourself. And that is enough. You've seen what happens when people don't guard their peace. They live in reaction, jumping at every insult, defending against every slight, arguing with strangers, begging to be understood, exhausted, depleted, distracted from what actually matters. But not you. You have drawn the line. You have made the vow. You will not give away what is most precious. Your focus, your calm, your power. You will keep them, hold them, use them only where they matter, on your work, your family, your growth, your mission, because you know now that life will test you, again and again. It will push every button, prod every wound, challenge every insecurity, not to break you, but to ask, are you really who you say you are? Do you really want what you claim to want? Will you hold your vision when the world tempts you to drop it? And you will answer with your calm, your silence, your unbroken focus. You will answer by continuing to build, by continuing to move, by refusing to stop, even when provoked, because you understand the power of non-reaction. You know that sometimes the strongest move is no move. The loudest answer is silence. The greatest show of power is restraint. You know that when you don't react, you stay in control of yourself, of the situation, of your destiny, because that's what reaction is. It's giving control away, letting them push your buttons, letting them steer your ship, letting them write your story. But you're the author here. You decide what matters. You decide what deserves your energy. You decide what deserves your words. And most things don't. Most insults don't. Most critics don't. Most provocations don't. They are distractions in disguise, sent to see if you'll forget why you're here. And you won't. You can't, because you want this too badly. You see the vision too clearly. You know the cost of being reactive, of letting small things pull you off your path, and you refuse to pay it. So you pause. You breathe. You choose, over and over and over, until it becomes who you are. Not someone who is never tempted to react, but someone who is too disciplined to give in. Because discipline is freedom. Freedom from your own impulses. Freedom from other people's manipulation. Freedom from the chaos of the world. And you are committed to that freedom. You will not give it away for anything. Not for the cheap satisfaction of winning an argument. Not for the fleeting ego rush of proving them wrong. Not for the hollow victory of getting the last word. You will let them have the last word. You will let them think they won, because you know better. You know the only victory that matters is building the life you want, living by your own values, serving what you believe in, growing into the person you're capable of being. And that victory is won in silence, in calm, in relentless, disciplined focus. Because you understand now it's not about never being bothered, it's about never letting being bothered change your path. You can feel the anger and still choose calm. Feel the insult and still choose silence. Feel the sting of rejection and still choose to keep going. That is true strength, not in denying what you feel, but in directing it, harnessing it, using it to sharpen your vision instead of scattering it, using it to deepen your discipline instead of breaking it, using it to fuel your work instead of derailing it. Because all of it, the insults, the failures, the doubts, the criticism, it's all energy, raw, chaotic. But you are the alchemist. You decide what it becomes, poison or fuel, weight or wings, chains or freedom. It's yours to transmute, and you choose mastery every time. This is why you act as if nothing bothers you, because nothing can stop you. Not really, not if you don't let it, because nothing has power over you that you don't give it. And you have chosen to give your power only to what matters, your purpose, your mission, your people, your craft, your soul. Everything else can fall away. Let it. It was never yours to carry. And in that letting go, you become lighter, freer, stronger, more focused, more you. The you that was always there beneath the reactivity, beneath the insecurity, beneath the noise, the calm you, the clear you, the unbothered you. That is who you really are. And now you are choosing to live as them. Every day, every moment, every time life tries to shake you, you remember, it can only move you if you let it. And you never will. Because you see, life is not asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be consistent. It's not demanding that you feel nothing. It's challenging you to be ruled by nothing. To hold your center when everything around you is spinning. To be deliberate when the world wants you frantic. To be clear when others are lost in confusion. This is the quiet power of the unbothered. They don't rush. They don't explain themselves to everyone. They don't dance for approval. They know their lane. They know their mission, and they stay on it, while the rest of the world is reactive, chasing validation like a dog chases cars. They conserve their energy. They choose their battles. They guard their time like treasure, because they know the cost of scattering themselves. They know what's at stake, their dreams, their well-being, their legacy. So they refuse. They refuse to be pulled into the mud. They refuse to be baited into proving themselves to small minds. They refuse to let the petty drag them from the profound. And that refusal is their crown. That choice is their scepter. That discipline is their throne. Because real power is not given to you. It's earned. One moment at a time. One choice at a time. One act of quiet mastery at a time. When you want to react but choose silence. When you want to argue but choose understanding. When you want to retaliate but choose patience. These are the bricks, laid carefully, deliberately, until you have built something unshakable. A life on your terms, a mind that is yours alone, a purpose that is invulnerable to insult, a focus that cannot be stolen. This is what they fear, you know. The people who try to provoke you. They fear what they can't move. They fear what they can't control. They fear what doesn't need them. So they will test you. They will poke at your insecurities. They will try to find your weak spots. And when you don't react, when you remain calm, they have to face their own noise, their own insecurity, their own chaos, because you refuse to carry it for them. You refuse to let them offload it onto you. You held your space. You held your peace. You held your power. And that is a gift to yourself, to the people who watch you, to the people you lead. Because whether you know it or not, people are watching. They are learning. They are looking for someone who can hold the line, someone who can show them there's another way, a way beyond reactivity, beyond endless conflict, beyond living at the mercy of every mood and opinion. And when they see it in you, something shifts. They wonder, how can they stay so calm? How can they let that go? How can they keep moving forward when everything is falling apart? And in that wondering, you give them permission to do the same, because your calm is contagious, your discipline is inspiring, your refusal to be moved by the trivial forces, them to question why they've let it rule them for so long. That is leadership, not barking orders, not demanding obedience, but embodying the standard, living the example, showing the way. And it all starts with you, with your choice, to hold your reaction, to pause, to breathe, to see clearly, to respond only when it serves your purpose, to let go of everything that doesn't. This is the highest form of self-respect, because you are saying, I value my peace too much to sell it cheap. I value my purpose too much to be distracted. I value my time too much to waste it on nonsense. You are setting the terms, drawing the boundaries, defining the standard, and you will not negotiate with anything less, because this is your life, your one life, and you have decided it will not be a stage for every insult, every critic, every petty conflict. It will be a temple for your dreams, a forge for your potential, a proving ground for your discipline, a testament to your vision. So let them talk, let them provoke, let them misunderstand. You will remain steady, clear, and focused, because you have chosen what matters, and you will not trade it for what doesn't. That is the promise you make to yourself. That is the vow you keep, not once, but every day, every hour, every moment the world tests you, and it will keep testing, because life wants to know, can I move you? Can I shake you? Can I make you forget who you are? And you will answer not with words, but with your unbothered presence, your quiet work, your steady progress, your refusal to be anything less than who you decided to be, because you understand now, this is the real flex, not shouting, not arguing, not reacting, but staying calm when it would be easier to rage, staying silent when it would be easier to speak, staying focused when it would be easier to scatter, staying true when it would be easier to conform. That is strength, that is power, that is freedom, and it is yours, because you chose it, because you earned it, because you will never give it away again.